Good evening and welcome to the Just Be Different broadcast. My name is Janae and I'm so excited and delighted to be invited into your time tonight to discuss relevant and pertinent issues with you, the viewing audience. Please know that the purpose and the goal of the Just Be Different movement is to empower people from all walks of life to be different in every aspect of their lives. Please visit our official website at wansleyj.wix.com/Just Be Different or like us on Facebook at the Just Be Different movement. If you are watching the Just Be Different broadcast for the first time, thank you so much for pressing play and for tuning in with us tonight. If you are an avid watcher of the broadcast, please accept my sincere thanks for always watching, always liking, sharing, and commenting on my posts, on our posts rather, because as long as you are an avid watcher, you are a part of the movement. So thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for being family, okay? All right, so now that all the particulars are out the way, let me just tell y'all I'm angry. I'm angry about a lot of things. I am extremely angry about a lot of things. And before I talk to you guys about what we will be discussing tonight, I just want to pause and ask all of you guys if you believe in any type of higher power, pray to it or him or what have you. Pray for Paris, please. Because Paris is being terrorized tonight. I can't think of any other term to possibly use that will suffice what's going on in Paris, France right now. You have shootings going on all over the city. You have bombings and explosions all over the city. You have people being held hostage in a concert hall. It's just so much going on. Nobody expected it. Just a random, this is just at random, I guess. But I know the citizens and the government of Paris did not expect for all of this to happen tonight. About the last time I checked CNN.com, at least, and that's at least 118 people have died during these tragic events tonight. There are plenty who are held hostage, thousands who are injured. So please read up on the story. Pray for Paris, please. They definitely need every prayer, every anything. I mean, I'm just so flabbergasted at the things that are going on. It has to be about 3 in the morning there now, and police are still trying to free the hostages, identify those who have died, and try to take care of those who are injured. Just please, before you put your head on the pillow tonight, think about how think about how good you have it. Think about how good God is. If you believe in a God and just think about how good your God is to you. And before you close your eyes tonight, just whisper a prayer for the people of Paris because they're definitely going through it tonight. Please. If you don't do anything else, just promise me that you'll whisper a prayer for Paris because they are definitely going through now and they need every vote of support and every prayer imaginable right now. Okay. I'm angry about that. And I'm angry about a whole lot of other things, but tonight I'm going to discuss one of the main reasons why I'm angry. And it is because of the police. I am angry with the police. I'm angry with the relationship that the civilians have with the police because there's supposed to be a certain amount of trust between the civilian and the police. And I guess I can only speak from where I live at in my neighborhood and the race that I am. But when I look at all of those and I put those all together, there is no trust with law enforcement. It seemed like they out to kill us. I'm going to just be honest. And I'm very angry. But see, I'm trying to be more Christ-like. And I'm really trying to be on the right path with my Lord and my Savior. So, I'm going to try to express my anger in the most respectable way possible. Because had I not been trying to get my life together with God, I probably would have had a few choice words on here tonight because I really feel a few down deep in the city of my soul. I do, because it is utterly ridiculous. There is no reason as to why we have to walk around. And when I say we, I'm talking about people in my neighborhood, people of my race, But I'm pretty sure there's so many people around the world who fear their lives because of police brutality. Yes, police brutality. Like, it's ridiculous. It is seriously ridiculous. I know I, as a black woman, kind of sometimes, when I was driving, because I'm not driving at the present moment, but when I was driving, I always used to be like, well, I hope they don't come and stop me today. I was so cautious. I didn't want the cops to stop me. I didn't want to have to interact with police because of my skin complexion. Might I even say the least bit of something out of the way to the cops. I'll probably be thrown on the ground and handcuffed for something really stupid and idiotic. And so I just really try to keep my contact with the police to a bare minimum. I know in my neighborhood where I live in the Bedford-Stuyvesant community in Brooklyn. And so this neighborhood used to be do or die, best die. I mean, shootings galore, robbings galore. Like, people, that was a way of life. And now that the area is becoming more gentrified, and people of other races are coming in, because this was a predominantly black neighborhood, and it still is, but it is slowly becoming a very mixed neighborhood. And so now it's like, well, we have to be really careful about what we do, because you never know who's calling the cops on us, or if we're making too much noise, the cops are going to come and tell us that we can't do X, Y, and Z when we've been here first, and we can't do what we're used to doing because other people have moved in. And now it's also sparking questions on racism. Like, okay, so are you calling the cops on me because I'm black? I mean, like, what is it? And so I'm angry. And it's really sparked me to do an episode, because one of my friends called me yesterday and he told me about what happened to him, which we'll talk about a little later. I'm just I feel like that was the icing on the cake. I'm really upset and I'm angry. And like I said, I'm really going to try to go through this episode in a peaceable fashion, because I can't really be getting all riled up and things like that. I can't, because I got to kind of take it easy with my health and things. But, look, it's ridiculous and it needs to stop. And so tonight I'm going to shed light on what is police brutality. I'm so angry I can't even talk right. What is police brutality? What is mistaken identity arrest? I'm going to read a few articles in your hearing so that you can better understand, because, we see it on the media. Oh, justice for Mike Brown. Who is Sandra Bland? Justice for Rakia Boyd. Justice for Tamir. Like, we hear all these things, but do we really know their stories? Do we really know their stories? And do we really know how inhumane they were? Because we really don't. So we're going to talk about all that tonight. And hopefully by the end of this broadcast, I don't blow a gasket, because I am upset. I'm angry. I'm just so angry. And I was talking to my friend today, and he was just like, yo, calm down. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm just angry. I'm just angry because I'm just angry. Okay, I'm just angry. So how about we just start off? Because if I start reading stuff and sharing information with y'all, maybe I'll calm down a little bit. We're going to start off with the definition of police brutality, and I have two of them. The first definition that I'll share with you is according to lawdictionary.org. Police brutality is the use of excessive and or unnecessary force by police when dealing with civilians. The second definition that I will share with you is according to definitions.uslegal.com. Police brutality is a civil rights violation that occurs when a police officer acts with excessive force by using an amount of force with regards to a civilian that is more than necessary. And so, with that being said, I would like to share with you guys an article that I came across on BET.com entitled, Black Victims of Police Violence Are More Likely to Be Unarmed. And this was written by Natalie Whaley on June 1st, 2015. You can find it at bet.com/news/national/2015. Natasha McKenna and Walter Scott, they are photos. And those were two victims of police brutality who had mental illnesses. There has been more attention placed on police misconduct in America than ever before. From Rekia Boyd to Freddie Gray, these names are a grim reminder of one of America's biggest social injustices. So far in 2015, close to 400 people have died from police shootings, according to a special report from the Washington Post. Even more have died when including other violent police encounters, according to The Guardian, which released a special report called The Counted this week on police violence. Consistent protests nationwide following reports of shooting deaths and hashtag activism in reaction to the incidents have kept the conversation going in the media. And the in-depth reports about police misconduct this week support what many activists have been saying about the killing of Black Americans by police. One of the most startling facts is that African Americans are 32% of unarmed victims of police violence, while Latinos make up the 25% and whites 15%, The Guardian reports. Similarly, the Washington Post reported that Blacks and Latinos were 2/3 of unarmed victims of police shootings. Meanwhile, African Americans make up 13.5% of the total U.S. population, while Hispanics are 17% and whites 77%, according to the latest U.S. Census figures. Why are African Americans and Hispanics more likely to be victims than whites when they are much less of the U.S. population, especially in situations when they are unarmed? Quote, "It's troubling that we have no official data from the federal government," end quote, Laurie Robinson told The Guardian. Robinson is a co-chair of Barack Obama's task force on 21st century policing. Both news organizations use police records and local news reports to compile databases. Quote, "I think it's very helpful in the light of that fact to have this kind of research undertaken," end quote, Robinson, she said. Moreover, 27% of the people killed during police encounters had mental illnesses. This brings to mind individuals such as Natasha McKenna, Anthony Hill, Dondre Hamilton, and Tanisha Anderson, who all suffered from mental illnesses and were killed by police in recent months. As the remainder of the year unfolds, the reality is that there will be other fatalities, but perhaps monitoring of police activity and the collection of cohesive data can bring forth reform to end police brutality in America. And you can follow Natalie Whaley on Twitter at Natalie_. Wow. So I know I said in yesterday's broadcast of Just Be Different that, have a seat. I know that I said in last night's broadcast of Just Be Different that our race, and when I say our race, I'm talking about my race, the African American race, is an endangered species. And in this article, we see that African Americans make up 13.5% of the national population. Latinos make up 17% of the national population, and whites make up 77% of the national population. So we're being killed, we're being attacked, we're being attacked. I believe this is an attack. And it's sad because we as a race don't even see that these things are really crippling us. Police brutality, light skin versus dark skin, the high rate of divorce in our race. Like, those are just a few of the problems that we have to look at and think like, wow, these are the things. Gangs, prostitution rings, and abusive relationships. All of these things are what's tearing our community apart. And we just turn a blind eye to it. I mean, we have to face the facts. These are the things that are killing us. Not only are the police killing us and attacking us, we're killing each other and attacking each other. And then we just want to blame it all on the white man. Now, while the white man may have something to do with it, and while racism is still prevalent, whether it is bold or silent, it's still prevalent in today's day and age. But we also do things to ourselves that endanger ourselves. When are we going to stop? When are we going to stop? When are we going to stop? And it's the things that we do to ourselves that cause the police and law enforcement officials to look at us the way that they do. And so then when they look at us this way, what are they thinking? The best way to control them is to A, kill them off, or B, throw them all in jail where they will spend the rest of their lives or the majority of their lives, or where they'll be executed. Point blank, end the period. But we cry, oh, the white man is oppressing us. Yes, 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 yes. And in many instances, he is. But we are also oppressing ourselves. And that is why a lot of these things go on, because we aren't unified as a race. We don't come together. We're always bickering amongst each other. Gangs, the Bloods and the Crips. They're mostly African American and Latino. And so if your cousin is Crip and you Blood, unless y'all really don't have a great understanding and y'all can put that difference aside because y'all family, people will kill family members because they are of a different gang affiliation. What? But we talk about the white man. If we would stop associating ourselves in these gangs and things, that'll just be one step to progress. There's so many different steps we have to take as black people. When we outside acting ratchet and acting a fool, but then the white cops and them treat us like animals, what do you expect? You go outside scantily dressed, you don't know how to act, you're cussing and carrying on Facebook talking about your baby daddy and how he ain't filling the blank, talking about your baby mama and how she ain't filling the blank, single parenthood, all these different things happening. And these white people are looking like, oh, okay, this is how they act, so let's treat them this way. And we have to realize that we may be small in numbers, quote unquote, but we still have the power to change things. Let's look at the University of Missouri story. What's been going on for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, for a good while now. The students of Mizzou decided that, you know what, there are injustices on this campus, and so look, until those injustices are handled and dealt with, we're not gonna go to class. We're not gonna play football and basketball and whatever else you want us to do. We're gonna fight for the right to be equal on this campus. And what happened? The university's president resigned. Now, maybe those are small ripples to you, but that is just one step to effect change in America. I mean, we just can't ignore the fact that there was Jim Crow, the civil rights movement, women's rights, and all of these other things like that. How we had to fight for a Black History Month and all of these things like that. But with all of the things that we have gained over the years, don't you think we can gain even more if we stop doing certain things to ourselves and band together as a collective unit to effect change? I mean, like, come on, guys. Like, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. But this is why police brutality exists, because some of it is because of how we portray ourselves to be. But moving on, because I could talk about that all night. I just want to give you guys, and I'm pretty sure you've heard these names, but I want to give you guys a few examples. Not even a few examples. I want to give you guys the names of a few victims of police brutality. Some you may have heard, some you may not have heard. Rekia Boyd, age 22, shot and killed on March 21st, 2012 in Chicago, Illinois. The shooter was Officer Dante, if I'm pronouncing it right, Saron, and there was never an indictment. in that case. A lot of police brutality cases go unsolved. They definitely go unsolved. Our next precious victim, may he rest in peace, Tamir Rice, age 12, shot on November 22nd, 2014, died November 23rd, 2014 in Cleveland, Ohio. Officer Timothy Lohman was the shooter, and there is now a quote-unquote active pending investigation. Michael Brown, age 18, shot and killed August 9th, 2014 in Ferguson, Missouri. Officer Darren Wilson was the shooter, and a wrongful death lawsuit is currently pending, but there was no indictment on the for the officer at all. I'm not mistaken, he did resign, but there was no indictment, or the indictment was thrown out. Sandra Bland, age 28, she was found dead in the Waller County Jail. In the Waller County Jail on July 13th, 2015, after a suspicious arrest by Brian Encinia after a traffic stop and heated debate. Those are just a few of the names of people who died at the hands of police brutality. Now, Sandra Bland, she died. The first autopsy, ruled her death a suicide. But what really happened to Sandra Bland, we have yet to find out, because the Waller County Sheriff's Office released a mugshot of her, and she was dead in her mugshot. I have never, ever in my life, what? Since when was somebody ever dead in their mugshot? She was laying on the floor. Now, let's be real, because I just want to talk about this real quick. Y'all talk about how y'all had no parts in this. She just killed herself and y'all found her X, Y, and Z. So then why would y'all fabricate a mugshot? So now that means there was never a mugshot taken. What? Y'all would fabricate a mugshot, rule the death a suicide, and then, if I'm not mistaken, I think the coroner, hopefully I'm not mixing two stories up, but the coroner who did Sandra Bland's autopsy, I think was like the sheriff's wife or a family member or something. What? Bye. I don't believe any of that. What happened to Sandra Bland? We never got a direct answer. They want to say it's suicide. They got a second opinion. The second opinion, when the family went and got a second opinion, it was never released. Or I don't think the family got the second opinion. Excuse me. The state got a second opinion, since everybody was talking about how it was unfair that the sheriff's wife, who was a coroner, did the autopsy. The state went and got a second opinion, and then it was never released to the media. So what happened? We still trying to find out what happened. Ridiculous. I'm telling you, and this is the world we live in. And then people will get mad at me if I say that I fear my life if I'm driving and I get pulled over by a cop. Yeah. She got pulled over for a traffic stop. Got into a little heated debate with the officer. Officer asked her to get out the car. She complied. He threw her on the floor and arrested her like a freaking dog. The lady complied with you. Are you kidding me? You know what? I really think, because my nose is running and I'm getting hot, I really think that maybe I shouldn't even talk, because I just get so mad. Y'all don't have to excuse me. I'm really dealing with a cold. Excuse me. I'm really dealing with a cold. Excuse me. But I'm getting hot and I'm getting angrier. We never found out what happened to her. How about this? Let's look up somebody else. Let's look up one more person. Yeah, I'm going to look this person up real quick. The story of Freddie Gray, which led to the Baltimore riots. Now, I just Googled the story of Freddie Gray, right? And so, okay, how about this? Before I get into that, this is an article about via the Washington Post about the story of Freddie Gray. I'm not gonna read the whole thing or what have you, but he was 25 years old when he died. Um, Mommy. He was 25 when he died. And yeah, excuse me. If I have to tell you one more time to sit down, okay. So I'm just gonna read this real quick. Not the whole thing, but just a little bit. Who was Freddie Gray? Freddie Gray, who at this moment is the nation's most popular, and this was written in May 2015, who is at this moment the nation's most prominent symbol of distrust in police, went by the name Pepper. Gray, 25, grew up in the impoverished neighborhood of Sandtown, Winchester on Baltimore's west side. In 2008, a lead paint lawsuit was filed on behalf of Gray and two of his sisters against the owners of the home in which they grew up. Court papers describe his difficult upbringing, a disabled mother addicted to heroin who in a deposition said she couldn't read. Walls and windowsills containing enough lead to poison the children and leave them incapable of leading functional lives. A young man who was 4 grade levels behind in reading. Close friends of Gray, who was 5'8" and 145 pounds, described him as loyal and warm, humorous and happy. Every time you saw him, you just smiled because you knew you were going to have a good day, quote unquote, said Angela Gardner, 22, who had dated him on and off over the past 2 years. But Gray also had frequent run-ins with the law. Court records show that he was arrested more than a dozen times and had handfuls of convictions, mostly on charges of selling or possessing heroin or marijuana. His longest stint behind bars was about 2 years. How did he die? Gray died of a severe spinal injury on April 19th, 1 week after being arrested by police following a foot chase in his neighborhood. It wasn't clear why he ran when he saw the police. The officer said that they found a switchblade in his pocket. Video shot by a civilian bystander shows officers dragging Gray, who appeared limp after he was handcuffed. Officials say he was able to climb into the back of a police van. The driver of the van made at least one stop on a 30-minute ride to a police station to put Gray in leg restraints, police officials said. Officials said Gray was angry and talking when he was first put in the van, but was not breathing when he arrived to the police station. Baltimore police have acknowledged significant errors in the moments that followed. Gray was not seat belted after being placed in a transport van, a violation of department policy. Gray was not offered medical attention despite several requests, and officers did not call for an ambulance when he was arrested, as they should have. Police said that they don't know whether Gray was injured during his arrest or while in the van. 6 police officers have been suspended while authorities investigate. Those involved in the arrest denied using force. Okay, so you mean to tell me that this young man was not given any medical attention after he requested medical attention? Y'all didn't put this man in a seatbelt. People were saying that he was looking limp while y'all put him in the police van. What? Okay. Now, after that incident, that sparked the Baltimore riots, where everybody was talking about, oh, look at the kids out in the street. Now, let me tell you something about those kids out in the street. You should have been in school. And to think that that's why, I get it. Your homeboy dead, things like that. But y'all go around vandalizing people's properties and people's cars and things like that. Yeah. There's so many other ways to peacefully demonstrate. That's one side. But I get the other side. Like, yo, I'm angry. Like, I get it. I get it. I definitely get it. They were angry. We were angry in Baltimore. And when I say we, I'm talking about my race. We were angry. We were upset. We were angry. And that's why we rioted. That's why we rioted. We're angry. I'm pretty sure we as African Americans are tired of being oppressed. We deal with microaggressions every day. Okay, I just used a big word. Let me tell you guys what a microaggression is. So y'all don't think I'm just making up words. Microaggression theory. Microaggression is a term which some use to refer to unintended discrimination. Psychiatrist and Harvard University professor Chester and Pierce coined the word microaggression in 1970 to describe insults and dismissals. He said he had regularly witnessed non-black Americans inflict on African Americans. So here's another definition. Microaggressions are the everyday verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights, snubs, or insults, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons solely based. Cause now it's loading. Okay. Solely based upon their marginalized group membership. The first step in addressing microaggressions is to recognize when a microaggression has occurred and what message it may be sending. Here are a few microaggression examples. Here goes. Microaggression example. Where are you from, or where were you born? You speak English very well. The message that's coming across, the subtle message coming across from that microaggression is, you are not a true American. Oh, what are you? You look so interesting looking. Or that would mean you are a perpetual foreigner in your own country. Color blindness. When I look at you, I don't see color. That is really telling you to assimilate to the dominant culture. There's only one race, the human race. You're denying the significance of a person of color's racial or ethnic experience and history. Let's try criminal status or assumption of criminal status. Destiny, be quiet and sit, please. A white man or woman clutches his or her purse or checks wallet as a black or Latino person approaches. You are a criminal. That's the message that they're trying to come across. Like, if I walk on a bus and as soon as I pay my fare and start walking down the aisle of the bus, everybody's clutching their purses and things, that means that they think that I will steal from them. And when you steal, that's committing a crime, which then tags me as a criminal. Get it? Get it? Do you get it? Or when someone crosses the street to the other side, or when someone crosses to the other side of the street to avoid a person of color, you're sending a vibe to me that I'm dangerous. I may have never killed a fly in my life, but because I'm black, you think that I'm dangerous, so you walk across the street. Those are all examples. All of what I just said were examples of microaggressions. And so, because we have to deal with that on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, we're tired. We're tired and we're angry. And so that sparked the Baltimore riots and Al Sharpton and Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant and many other religious and civil rights activists and figures. They all came together because it's like, enough is enough now. When are we going to do something about this? And so after the Baltimore riots and after the Sandra Bland incident, after Mike Brown, justice for Mike Brown, what happened to Sandra Bland? Justice for Freddie Gray, justice for Tamir, justice for Rakia, all these people who have died at the hands of police brutality. I don't know why I want to say police so bad, but police brutality have sparked it has become a clarion call and a cry for help from the African American. We need to finally stand up. We need to finally stand up. And so because of police brutality, um, we now have this tainted relationship between cops and civilians, between the 5-0 and civilians, between the boys and the civilians, between the DTs and the civilians, whatever you want to call them. Because I'm the ones that I just use, we use to call the cops in New York. That's we don't have a great relationship with the cops. We don't trust the cops. We want no parts of the cops. And as an African American, we can't. And I'm gonna just say this, and I don't care who slacks me. I don't care. First things first. I'm an African American woman, right? I could be driving and get pulled over. Don't have nothing in my hand. Not doing nothing, complying with the officer. I ask one question or get into a little heated conversation with the man, and I'm being unruly, and now I'm being disorderly. So now you trying to cuff me up for disorderly conduct. No shade to the white people or anything like that, to the Caucasians. Let me tell you something. I'm not racist. I speak on the injustices that have occurred to my race. Like, I don't care what anyone says. No one can turn a blind eye to everything that has happened to African Americans. From the time we were shipped over here from Africa to today. America has a violent history of how they treat African Americans. So I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, she just being racist." I'm not. Facts is facts, yo. Jim Crow is facts. Slavery is facts. The whole civil rights movement, facts. How black people are how black people experience housing discrimination and job discrimination in 2015, facts. Facts. So let's not. So let's not call me racist because I'm not. Because you say I'm not. But anyway, I've seen many a white person argue with the cops down boots. I mean, every type of cuss word come out their mouth. Threatening to get out the car, waving their hands in the police face, and saying all kinds of things to the cops. And they still get off with warnings. Oh, but if we even dare to lift our finger to point at the cop, they are going to drag us from here to the police station if they need to. They won't even be decent enough to put us in a car. Because we would have done so much by pointing our finger at them. Or if we reach down to get our license. Our license is supposed to be in the dashboard. I'm supposed to be holding my license while I'm driving. I can't reach down and get nothing without you pulling a gun out at me. Are you I can't. I seriously cannot. But a white person can go through his glove compartment, go through her glove compartment, go through their purse, everything like that. I can tell you the only time I've never been afraid of being pulled over or things like that. Or let's say if I got pulled over, if I was never afraid when my daughter was in a car, because I knew, or at least I trusted them enough to think that they wouldn't do anything crazy to me because my daughter was in the car. But if I was by myself, I wouldn't trust them the least bit. And it's sad because the police are really there to help us. They're really supposed to help us. But when you go through years and years and years of being battered and tormented and terrorized by the police, you think differently. Which leads me to this CNN article, excuse me. So, this was an article written on February 15th, 2010, entitled Officer Offer. What is wrong with what's wrong with my, I guess I'm just so riled up because my speech is so slurred today. I don't know why. Let me calm down. Officer, you've got the wrong person, by Stephanie Chen of CNN. Three police cars pulled into Christina Forhorn's front yard one afternoon, just before she was supposed to pick up her daughter at school. Hey, the officials had a warrant for her arrest. What do you mean, robbery? Forhorn remembers asking the officers. Her only brushes with the law had been a few speeding tickets. She was locked up in a Colorado jail. They took her clothes and other belongings and handed her an oversized black and white striped uniform. She protested for 5 days, telling jailers the arrest was a mistake. Finally, her husband borrowed enough money to bail her out. They wouldn't tell me the details, she said. Later, it became clear that Forhorn was right, that Denver police had arrested the wrong woman. Police were searching for Kristen Forhorn, who lived in Oklahoma. Their names were similar, and Christina Forhorn, a mother with no criminal record living in Sterling, Colorado, had been caught in the mix-up. Forhorn went public about her case more than 2 years ago, filing a lawsuit that alleged the arrest violated her constitutional rights. The Fourth Amendment protects citizens from arrest without probable cause. The problem of mistaken arrest continues, said attorneys with the American Civil Liberties Union of Colorado. The group, which represented Forhorn, calls Denver police work recklessly sloppy. An ACLU mistaken identity lawsuit on behalf of four other people is pending against Colorado police agencies. A mistaken identity arrest occurs almost every day, said policing experts and officials at the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. But most people taken into custody are released shortly after the mistake is realized. Since the Forhorn case, the ACLU found at least 237 cases in Colorado in which police may have arrested the wrong person. The figure is likely a small sample since police often release those wrongfully arrested before the first court appearance, the ACLU said. In 2009, Denver's Department of Safety found 51 cases in which a person claimed the warrant naming them was incorrect, a number that's a small fraction of the 46,864 people arrested that year. A Denver police spokesman declined to comment on the mistaken identity arrest. Hold on. While no one should be misidentified and incorrectly held in jail, we realize that it can happen, said Mary Dulacky, records coordinator for Denver's manager of safety. Other times, police may be relying on a personal alias. Suspects often give officers false names, which remain on their records as an alias. Also, computer typos and glitches lead to mistaken identity arrests, policing experts say. In New York this month, a 37-year-old man filed his second lawsuit against the New York Police Department, alleging he was wrongfully arrested twice, even after receiving an $120,000 settlement for an earlier mistaken arrest. In Florida, several mistaken identity arrest cases made headlines in 2009. One case included a Naples high school coach who was arrested on drug charges because of identity theft. Advances in fingerprinting technology have made it faster for police to identify the right person, but police departments across the country continue to face obstacles. An agency that issues a warrant may not be the same agency that makes the arrest and puts a person in jail. Even when faced with protests, jail officials can't get to the bottom of things until they get in touch with the warrant issuing agency. And I'll just stop there. Are y'all serious? Now, let me tell you why I got so angry. So my friend calls me. I hadn't heard from him in like about 2 days. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, where you at? So I was like, good morning. You okay? He had been a little sick. So, I'm like, you all right? You all right? We talk every day. So I get a little worried or whatever when I don't hear from him. We cool. And so I was like, I sent him a text message yesterday afternoon, and I was like, oh no, I'm about to send the search parties out for you because it had been 2 days, and I didn't know if he had gotten sick or if he was in the hospital or whatever the case may be. He calls me last night, and he tells me, so I just got out of jail. And I'm like, wait, what? You just got out of where? You just got out of who? Y'all need to know who it is. I ain't about to use no names. So if you watch this broadcast, oh, let me tell you who's in jail. You ain't gonna find out who it is. It's fine. You don't need no names. But he was like, yeah, I just got out of jail. I was here for 2 days, the worst 2 days of my life. And he's angry, down, spank boots. And I'm sitting there, I'm getting my hair done. I'm like, what? You was in jail? Because he would never be the type to do anything crazy. Go and watch Dang Tiger, okay? You begged me to put this show on. Sit down and watch it. I'm tired. Sit down and watch it. I'm tired of watching. Shh. I'm watching. And so I'm like, jail, he's like, oh, I've been here the last 2 days, worst 2 days of my life or whatever. So he's talking and I'm just like, jail? Like, jail? He would never do anything to land himself in jail. So I'm like, what? But, I'm trying to hear him out. He's like, yeah, they arrested me and I wasn't for a robbery. And you know me, I want, and he's just like going off. He's just, and as he should, he's like, they arrested the wrong person. They had me in there for 2 days. And then when they let me go, all they could say was, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. So-and-so. We apologize for the inconvenience. We're sorry for the misunderstanding. So, now, mind you, I'm where I'm at, like, are you serious? Are you serious? Now, mind you, what is a lowly 24-year-old going to do about that? But I thought at that moment on the phone that I was fitting to be Al Sharpton and everybody else, Martin Luther King Jr. Why don't you? Because I was really upset when he told me that he was arrested for something he did not do. And he spent 2 days in jail. I'm sure he didn't have any of his belongings or, he lost his freedom for 2 whole days. 2 days. 2 days. And so I'm like, wow. And, I've been so angry about that ever since because, the first thing that came out of my mouth was get a lawyer. Because you can get a settlement. Especially, I didn't tell him to go into details about what they did. Like, but if they did anything to him in that jail, or whatever the case may be, he can definitely let his lawyer know, and they can try to wrongful arrest lawsuit, whatever the case may be, however it works, sue. I know that'd be the first thing I'd be doing is suing. Then on top of it, he's black, and it's like, Lord, with all the things going on between black people and the police, Lord knows what they could have did to him in that jail. And let's say he didn't comply with them, he could have wound up dead like Sandra Bland. Like, it just really annoyed me. And so we're talking about it. He's like, I'm pissed off. Like, I can't, and I'm surprised, I won't necessarily say I'm surprised, but there's just certain things that you won't tell certain people. So I was like, wow, he sat and told me about this. And I'm just like, wow. He was like, I can't believe that he was like, I've never been to jail. I never did nothing. He was like, I can't believe this. I cannot. I'm like, oh, I can't either. And I'm ready to start boycotting in New York City for my friend who lives in Chicago. And I can't, what am I going to do about that? But I was just so angry because just thoughts ran in my mind. Like, what all could have happened to him had he been there for more than 2 days? What happened to him within those 2 days? Like, really? Y'all crazy. I'm telling you. This is crazy. Excuse me. So you mean to tell me, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all mean to tell me I didn't plug in my laptop? Oh, I got it. Sorry. You know, got it. So it's like, what could have happened? What could have happened in those 2 days? And I was just so fed up, so fed up, so fed up. And we got to think about it. How many more people does this happen to? Like, I just read you one article, and I'm about to read you another one in a moment, or maybe not, because I think I X'd it out. But these are the reasons why we don't have the right relationship that we need to have with law enforcement officials and the police departments that we are that have jurisdiction over us. This is why, and I'm tired. I'm tired of having to deal with certain things when I don't. Certain things that I have to deal with when others don't have to deal with them. If that makes sense, like because of the color of my skin, I have to deal with certain things that others do not have to deal with. And the funny and the crazy thing about it is that people actually think that we don't deal with these things. People actually think that we have the same advantages that they have, when in reality we do not. I'm tired. I am tired of living this way. And I mean, like I said, we have to first band together as a collective unit, and then as a collective unit fight against these moral injustices and things like that, so that we can start to progress as a race, and then show the nation as a whole that, look, we are a force to be reckoned with. Don't mess with us. Don't mess with us. This has been a wonderful broadcast. I would be on this broadcast for 2 hours if I could, but I'm not. It's almost an hour long now. Thankfully, I got through it without giving a few choice words. I thank God for that. I really thank God for that. When I tell you my mind is blown, though, my mind is definitely blown, though. Please, 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 again, pray for Paris. I'm on CNN.com right now. And it says, breaking news: according to French officials, gunmen are still at large in Paris attacks. Five suspected attackers have been neutralized. So they're making headway, but we still want to pray for the city of Paris tonight, because they are definitely going through. Definitely going through. So, thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast, and I hope that I've given you clear insight on police brutality, mistaken identity arrests, and why the relationship between civilians and police aren't as great as they should be. You should be angry too, because we supposed to be trusting these people. If I'm the only person that's angry about this and a whole bunch of other things that's going on in our world today, something's wrong. You need to be angry too, and that fire, because when I tell you, it's like literally a fire burning deep inside me. Like, I'm very angry, but instead of using that for negative, I'm going to use that fire that I feel and use it to combat these societal injustices, these moral injustices, so that my daughter, because my daughter is all of 2 years old, so when she is 24, and when she has a family of her own, and when she has to deal with certain things, she may not have to deal with as much as what I had to deal with. Make sense? I hope it makes sense, because it makes sense to me. All right, you guys, thank you so. You want a cookie that bad? Come here, because I know you want to say hi, and I know you, even though your hair look a mess, and I gotta do it in the morning. Come on, you gonna say something? Say hi. Hi. Say thanks for watching. You're watching. Good morning. No, good night. Good night. Say thanks. Thanks for watching. For watching. Just be different. Different. I am. All right, hold on, wait. Take a cookie. Even though you don't need no more. It's 10 o'clock at night. But, yo, she loves talking to y'all. So I guess I'll let her say something to y'all tonight. Thanks for watching Just Be Different. You're not going to give me a cookie? What if I want a cookie? Can I have a cookie? May I have a cookie? All right, y'all. Bye. Thanks for watching Just Be Different. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye-bye. See y'all tomorrow.